Hello and welcome along to the West Yorkshire Football Show. It is the post-match reaction to Leeds United 0, Newcastle United 0 in the Premier League. I'm Stephen Brown. Joining me as ever is Jason Booker. Get your likes in, get your comments in, get subscribed to the channel. Here we go. Jason, it's been a very difficult week. We were on about 24 hours ago, actually, discussing the difficulties of this week. A lot of negatives, whether they're just perceived negatives or realities. And there was a bit of a feeling going into today, a bit of a heavy feeling, I've got to say. And I think you kind of summed it up in the WhatsApp group saying, I'm a little bit nervous about this one, a little bit on edge about this one. I certainly was. I felt real. I didn't know what was coming down the pipeline. There was a little storm brewing above Ellen Road. I thought, what's going to be happening? But actually, Leeds United have fought and scrapped and got themselves an invaluable point at home to, let's not forget, a very, very strong Newcastle United team that did have a couple of absentees, but they still had Tonali back, Shah was back, Gimenez, it was still really stacked. You look at that bench, who they were able to bring on, Alanga, Harvey Barnes, and Leeds have managed to nullify them for most of the match by a couple of odd moments. And just for me, a really well-deserved morale-boosting point at the end of what has been a difficult week. We talked yesterday about how Farke does get it, to heal. He kind of, gets it together for this team. We always seem to have difficult August, but certainly finishing it on a high for me. But Jason, your kind of take an hour or so after the game there.
It's like the 0-0 West Brom won it almost a year ago on the back of the Middlesbrough Cup game, the Sheffield Wednesday Cup game midweek. We follow it up with this. I think, I said, Head said 2-0 to Newcastle. Hart said that we could get a 1-1 draw. I was delighted with the performance, if I'm honest. I was really delighted with the performance, the structure of the system, the setup, the determination, the guile, the duels won. The battle in the midfield, yes, they were missing Joe Linton, but like you said, Tonali and Gimenez still in there. On paper, a far better team than us. Dangers down them wings. I thought Livramento was very good and brought on Alanga and Barnes, and it didn't make any difference really. They were nullified to one long-range chance from Murphy. That was pretty much all they had over 90 minutes. We had the better of the opportunities. I'd say we played the better stuff. On the whole, we just missed that little bit of quality in the final third, which would have given us them 1 or 2 moments extra to create a real gilt-edged chance that we then go on and take and win the game. And on Stack wasteful, Dan James at times wasteful, which I know we'll get into. Nonto at times wasteful as well. They were all wasteful, to be fair, in periods. But we showed a far higher level than against Arsenal. Tactically, I thought we were spot on. We covered the pitch extremely well. We defended really well within the lines. We didn't let them cut through. I've been, a bit negative about Ilya Gruev over the last 2 games. I thought he out of possession today was perfect. He gave us what Ilya Gruev can do off the ball. He's very aware. Technically on the ball, we'll come to that as well. Completely, I think, miles off it, which we said he probably was going to be. But there were a lot to like. I thought Joe Rodon was excellent. I thought Longstaff was excellent. It made me laugh. I jumped into a stream at halftime just to kind of get the general consensus, and I saw somebody had commented, finally getting to see the best of Sean Longstaff, and it was like, he's had 2 sub appearances. Like, what people were expecting, but I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was really, really good today, and industrial working experience. He just didn't give him a second. That him and Stack did a really good job of nullifying Gimenez and Tonali, I thought. So yeah, a huge result, and a huge result for Daniel Farke. Daniel Farke has taken a lot of heat over the last week, unfairly and unnecessarily, and he kind of just turned up today and showed that he can get a lot out of this side. And at the moment, it's not fully clicking. This is not the fully fledged version of us. There's new players coming into the side. There's injuries. There's they're obviously up into the level. That's another part of this transitional period as well. And we've been very, very competitive. I'm going to ignore the fact that we conceded 5 goals. We've got 2 clean sheets out of 3. That's not a tactically inept manager. It's not a Premier League model against Everton and Newcastle. It's just not. While it's at Ellen Road, I don't care. We've nullified them to next to nothing between the two games. Sure, we're struggling a little bit with creation, but that will come with more experience in the league, more of the system building in, a little bit more creativity in there as well, which we know we're lacking. So I thought we were really good today, really, really good.
Yeah, good stuff. I want to get to some of your comments as well, because I think it's quite a positive chat out there. Mark, hi boys, great point today. Thank you very much, Mark. Lee, great point. Starting to look like we're up to the task. Gav, good result ahead of the break. 10th in the league, indeed. Skip, a huge confidence boost for the squad, DF and the fans. Overall, a much better performance. And as Luke says here, thanks for your comment, mate. Tony Mowbray made a perfect description. We have the soldiers, we need the artists. Yeah.
It won't do this, but this performance should put to bed any Daniel Farke noise. It really, really should. It won't, because the same reason that it wouldn't have done last week, the agenda is there. No, the dislike for the man for no reason whatsoever is there. But if you understand football at all, you know the level difference between them two teams, and we were the better team. That's as long as it is short. And the deficiencies that we were showing came down to the personnel, not the tactics. He can't be responsible for Dan James not being able to play a 5-yard pass to Bogle or put him through in the second half.
Yeah.
Or, and this, it's not just Dan James, it was countless other opportunities as well throughout the game. The moments break down and you don't think much of them, but if the quality had been in that place at that time, it'd have ended up with a gilt-edged chance. Metcha was responsible for a couple. I thought Stack were responsible for a couple as well. There were one in the second half where Stack, we'd broken through the press and Stack got the ball halfway through.
I was shouting at the screen at that.
Into the Newcastle half, and he whacks it straight into, I think it was James. And it's like, what is he meant to do with that? He passed him the ball at like kind of mid-drift area, and it's like, and fans will just kind of like, turn over the ball and not really acknowledge how big of a moment that was, because we had an overload. And it's these moments, they add up. So, and getting back to my point, Daniel Farke's not responsible for that. He's responsible for building that moment that led to that. And then the player has to deliver the quality, and they didn't enough tonight. So
I agree completely, because there were times when we were turning over the ball quite high up the pitch for those. And those moments are sparing, those moments are sparing. And Dan James, and we'll get into more of it in depth as it's through, but I agree with you completely. Those opportunities are few and far between in games like that, and they can make a huge, huge difference. Just kind of rewinding then the lineup, Jay, it saw a couple of changes there. The big one probably, Piru dropped, Nemetcha in. I was very happy to see that. I think I had question marks about Gruev kind of still coming back into it. I also was wondering what the plan with Bijol was. I was kind of expecting Bijol to come in. I do have to say I thought Strout was good today. I did think Strout was very, very good today. Some of his passing out of kind of dangerous situations. And I thought generally he was solid. There was only that moment where he went to kind of head the ball. There was a bit of confusion.
Yeah, he had a couple of strike moments.
Yeah, but I thought overall he was decent. And I do wonder what's going to happen with Bijol there. That's going to be interesting. Is that, and Farke doesn't strike me as I have a home team selection and an away team selection.
Yeah.
Either, so you do wonder what will happen there. But in terms of that lineup, when you saw it, Jay, was it what you expected? Were you happy with the changes?
Yeah, I think so. I were a little bit disappointed not to see a change on the wings. I was hoping that Nonto would maybe play on the right and either Harrison or Okafor would come in on the left. I'm guessing Okafor wasn't fully fit, which is why he wasn't used at all. And I think he's got his position for Jack Harrison, but I thought Jack Harrison was really good tonight. Really, really good. He really industrial, really hard working, and I thought
tidy.
I thought he created some of our best moments down that left-hand side. If he'd just had a little bit more composure when he brought it right the way to the byline, he'd have picked out a man and we'd have scored. But all the build-up to that was really, really good. The best of Jack Harrison that you can kind of remember if we've seen them moments before. So that was probably the only other one, because I don't know whether Dan James is just struggling to play his way into form because of his injuries and his niggles, or whether we're just seeing Premier League Dan James, and I think we need to just give him more time. I think I think he's got plenty to offer this season, but his final product has just diminished in what we saw against the best of last season, and that's a bit of a worry. So I would have liked to see Nonto on the right and then one of the others on the left. But I think the rest of the side was fine. And I think, Mecha for Pirot was the obvious one. And I thought Mecha was excellent first half, especially. Really linking player, battling like crazy with the defenders, backing in, doing all the stuff that Pirot just can't do. And the fact that we got later into the game and he brought BCL on over Pirot tells me that it's probably going to be a difficult slug for Pirot to find a way back into this side. And that's early days, and it has happened so quickly after what was a good performance against Everton. But where does, you can see the quality difference. I thought Calvert-Lewin was really good when he came on as well, mate. I thought, the positions, the runs that he were making, the areas that he were getting himself into, Pirot just doesn't do that.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I do wonder what his role is going to be, because for me, it was a relief watching how Mecha was getting stuck into their defence, winning duels, holding the ball up. Yes, occasionally on the ball sometimes, didn't quite get the pass right or ball got away from him a couple of times. But I thought on the whole, it was a relief watching someone, because you knew when we went long, the defenders must have been dreading it, because he's just in their face. He's a big guy. He's holding players off. And then, with Calvert-Lewin, when he came on, he looked... What I love about Calvert-Lewin as well is, he seems to me like he's got the eye of the tiger. He's got this look in his eye where he just seems to want it so much, and you can see that he wants to make it work. And when he had that chance, I thought I was willing that ball into the back of the net. It was a good effort. And I wonder about Peru, because I do feel with Farke, he's the kind of guy where we played well against Everton and Peru played very well against Everton.
Yeah,
and I feel Peru is the type of manager that to say, you did well for me, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do well again at Arsenal. I'm going to give you that game to show me what you can do. And it didn't work at all. And, there's probably games for Peru, maybe, when you're playing those teams further down the table, the relegation rivals, whatever you want to say, maybe that's where he will kind of play his part. For me, though, I wouldn't have, I was happy to see Dominic Calvert-Lewin come on and do what he did, and maybe those two can switch it up. Maybe that's how it'll be. You do wonder for Peru going forward what his role is, because I don't want him in number 10 either, because you just don't get any physical output at all from him. He can't press and he can't close down, and for me that's pretty pointless. One of the things we excelled at today was that discipline and how hard we worked. I totally agree. On James, I think I'm concerned about James, and I would really love to see us do something for the right wing. I'm begging something for the right wing, please, Leeds. Do something for the right wing, because watching James, it's not too dissimilar. Well, it's not dissimilar at all to what he did in the Championship, except in the Championship, he gets those moments maybe 7 or 8 times. In the Premier League, he gets it 3 times and he messes up every single time or makes the wrong decision so far. And for me, I'm not sure he's going to be of the requisite level. I'm happy to give him more opportunities and stuff, but I don't see... He can't improve his technique. He can't get technically better, really. So I don't know how he's going to bridge that gap unless his decision-making improves. Because
that's it. Decision-making.
Yeah, I mean, that point, that you mentioned, that 5-yard pass to Bogle or whatever that he had to do, and he got it wrong. And it's those moments that, it kills it. And you're absolutely spot on. Those tiny moments. I was annoyed with Stack today. I thought Stack on the ball today was pretty poor.
Yeah, I thought he had a poor game as well.
One long range pass that was absolutely spot on, but there were a couple of times in the first half where he broke forward and awful pass.
I thought in possession he was poor today.
Yeah, I thought in possession he was really poor. That's disappointing, because that's where you need. We're all expecting Stack to do it, and I think he will. I think he will deliver.
Yeah, I think he will.
I think he will.
I do think, Browney, that there's been a big tactical shift, though. Well, I saw a tactical shift today in comparison to Everton and Arsenal. We went long a lot today. A lot. And what we did do, we set up to win the second balls. So it was coming down off Mecha, and then we had the midfield flooding in and around them areas to kind of support Mecha then. Again, people will probably just skirt over that and ignore what happened today from a tactical point of view and just say they won't credit Farker with anything with regards to that today. But it was very clear that Perry was instructed to go towards Mecha every time. Oh, not even every time actually. That's unfair to say as well. But if there was any sort of doubt, bypass the midfield, go towards Mecha, and then win the second balls. If we can play out from the back because we've got that extra 25, 30 yards, then go for it. But the players managed that really well, I thought. We didn't get caught in possession in our half very often, trying to play it out unnecessarily. And I think, when you're looking at a midfield of Longstaff, Stack and Gruev, that's really smart. Tactically, that makes so much sense because technically they're not that kind of player. Ampadu and Tanaka can do that and Stack can do that, but the other two can't really. So I was really, really happy to see that. It's not just all about personnel. It's sometimes about what you get them personnel to do when they're out there, the role that they're then playing within the system to help us get, a really, really big point. So
yeah, I agree. And I think this is what we've been banging the drum for this since. It's like people say Farker doesn't adapt. He does adapt. He's done it like literally every single season. He's adapted to circumstances. I'm not saying it's not all suddenly going to go wrong for Farker. Like I said, I don't have a crystal ball, but he does make those shit. It's like today, there's probably managers out there that are so stubborn that probably would have played Peru again. And it
tell you one who would,
right?
Marcelo would have done.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's absolutely spot. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And I then liked, I was negative about Farker last weekend, but we have to give him his credit this weekend.
Yeah,
I was really happy that he made the brave decision to bring on Brendan Aronson and Jack Harrison. Now, a lot of fans will be screaming blue murder about that, but it was the right thing at the right time in that game to make sure that we didn't lose control of the game because we had control of the game.
Yeah.
So this comment from Michael, just the end bit a little boring, but it's a result. Me and you were talking before a ball was kicked that we thought a lot of the games would look like that, because I think Daniel Farker's got a very pragmatic approach to the way that we're playing games, and being in games and not conceding is absolutely vital to us being able to stay up. I mean, if we go on a 4 point per 3 game basis, we'll easily stay up. So, and you can't be, you can't stay up without being in games. So, we could have been a little bit more attacking today, but we'd have ended up losing the game.
Yeah. If I was a neutral, I'd have turned that game off. As a Leeds fan, I was engrossed from the start. I didn't find it boring because I'm engrossed and I'm emotionally, involved because I support Leeds. So I personally didn't find it boring. I was just delighted to see us stick in the game and battle, and I enjoyed it actually. Michael, great point here as well. Energy levels went up when both came on. Harrison was the best player coming forward. Quick mention for Harrison as well, because you've touched on it before, and I thought, do you know what I thought about Harrison? Actually, I thought he was tidy. He was so tidy with the ball. Decision making was spot on. And it's a position where if you lose the ball where he is, then the Newcastle in transition, you can get hurt. So fair play to Jack Harrison for coming on. I think it's like putting a couple of Duracell rabbits on or whatever that, what I mean? It's like, Duracell bunnies, releasing them too. I don't think Aronson impacted things that much, maybe off the ball. He was kind of pressing and stuff, but
he had a good little moment in the corner.
Oh yeah, that was like his Crystal Palace dribble for in first league. That was lovely, tidy. Sometimes I wonder with Aronson, I'm like, he don't have that much technical ability, but then he does. It's weird. I'm like, I kind of, with Aronson, I'm almost like, is there a player in there that's going to explode and start to get, do them kind of moments? I'm like, is there a player there? I'd love it if there was. I would absolutely love it if there was.
He's got something about him. He's not completely useless.
No.
And last year he played a vital role for me. I spent all bloody season defending the poor lad. And his G&A weren't as bad as what people made out, but the way his work off the ball was huge. And again, there's a reason that Danny Farker brings him on when he needs them legs, and it does make a difference. It's interesting that he's now the second option to the right-hand side, which is really interesting. I mean, it's funny because if we do sign a right winger that's better than Dan James, it'll be interesting to see then what he does later on into games. Does he carry on bringing Brendan on over Dan James to be that defensive winger that he talks about, or does Dan James become second choice? It's an interesting one. But yeah, I like him, mate, and I think the option that he gives us coming off the bench is a bit different. And Jack Harrison deserves a lot of credit. He's just got his head down. He made his gesture towards the fans against Everton. He worked really hard today. The boos have silenced, and he's now back in the squad. And he'll play games, and he'll start games this season as well. And he will provide assists, and he will score goals. He will.
Yeah. Sean Longstaff, then, Jay, Newcastle lad, playing against them. Must have been kind of a bit of an emotional game for him in some way. It must be weird to kind of, you're going up against your boyhood club, obviously Newcastle's in his soul. But he was just absolutely tremendous, and it was great to see because he didn't have the best of times against Sheffield Wednesday, but today, Jules, he was first. It was just kind of the best of him, and that's the kind of play you need in those circumstances, isn't it? When it's it's rainy, it's a cold night, it's a battle, it's a fight, it's a scrap. You're chasing second balls, and I thought it was superb. I thought on the ball as well, he was fine. I thought he was fine as well. He was tidy, and I like as well about him that when he's in that deeper position, he's happy to go long as well. And not play himself into trouble.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent today. Right from word go, you could just see he were about it, and he were going to make them lads in the Newcastle midfield think, I want to put one over on you. I want to kind of show that I was of the level, and we know he's not of the level of Gomeres and Tonali and Joelinton, but he can offer so much. And I had to laugh at the comment that me and you saw the other day with regards to wanting Prem proven players, but then the same person had complained about Sean Longstaff, and it's like people don't know what they're saying today, but you got a flavour of it tonight. That is the Premier League experience that you need within the ranks to help you get them points over the line, to help you stay up. And
we didn't have it last time, did we?
We didn't, mate. We're looking at the bench and seeing Adam Forshaw's midfield depth, or no midfield experience at all. Sometimes, I remember Lewis Bates starting that game at home at Chelsea, and completely out of his depth. Bless him, And now we have a proper stalwart Premier League midfielder that knows what he's doing and knows how to handle himself in a midfield battle. And he put himself about. He were tough as nails today. Ended up with man of the match. Won all of his duels. On the majority of his duels, it was top on duels. I saw pop up on Sky. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, indeed. Skip raises an interesting point here, and I still think this is valid. Is it a little worrying that we haven't scored from open play yet? Now, my kind of riposte to that is look at the opponents we've played first of all.
Yeah.
You look at what Everton are doing now, and Everton are cooking a little bit now. I think Everton are going to have a very decent season now. I really do. I could see them getting certainly in the top 10. And then you're playing Arsenal and Newcastle, who unreal, in terms of how they defend and that whole thing, what they like out of possession as well. So I don't think it's a true reflection of our attacking prowess, what we've seen so far. I do think there's going to be more there, and I would hope so. Having said that, I'm begging, please, I would love us to strengthen in attack. Let's just get a little bit more quality. It's like, can you imagine if you had Somerville at his pomp in this team, someone who can really make some magic happen, or, that's kind of what we're looking for. Just that little bit more. And then you've almost got a kind of perfect blend. You've got your kind of defensive, hard-working wingers with Aronson and Harrison, but then you've got this bit of flair, this bit of magic, because Nonto, bless him as well. I think he's had a decent start as Nonto, and it all is good, and he's so composed on the ball, but the final decision part is wrong time and time again. And we don't know about Okafor. We don't know. I'm hoping he can eventually get that left wing place and really start to cook. The right wing, I'd love to see something there. Maybe, a midfielder who can kind of break the lines or whatever, Rothwell style, but at a higher level, obviously. That's what I feel we just lack. I think everyone knows it. Farke knows it. You look at post-match comments, he knows they're looking for that attacking quality, and I think it would just really, I think, be the icing on the cake if we can just get that done, because 3 games, no goals scored in open play. But like I say, caveat being, look at the opposition.
I think there's a few things at hand. I think you have to look at the opposition in hand. I think you have to look at the fact that we're building into it as well, into the level, into the system, because there has been a change in system. We don't have a 10 anymore, and the players are gelling and molding together, because it's some different personnel within there as well. I think there's a reminder of the fact that we were a bit like this at times last season.
Yeah.
A lot of our goals came from the right back and left back, in which we were pushing so high up the pitch. But we were able to do that because we were so much better. We suffocated teams into oblivion through over possession and dominating areas of the pitch. But we never created 5, 6, 7 big chances, really. Maybe Cardiff at home when we won 7-0, but on the majority, our wins were 2-0. 1-0, 3-1, like that, especially at home. Yeah. So I think we are now getting far less chances. Yes, we scored a lot of goals last season, but I think it came from a different element of our play. The fact that we, like I said, suffocated teams with possession. Now we're not able to do that for as long, so we're creating less chances. And then you add into the fact that we have the lack of creativity within them areas of the pitch. I truly believe that if Manor Solomon had been in this side from day one of pre-season, we'd have probably seen more clear-cut chances on goal.
Yeah,
I think the same would go for the other signings that we'd looked at, Paijao, Camwa, these names that kind of would have then given us that creative spark. Because I do look at Nonto and Dan James in particular and think they will work hard, but they will waste so much. I think Nonto's guilty of it as well. I think he looked better, but I think he's
wasteful.
He's equally as wasteful with when he decides to shoot, when he decides to go on the inside, when he decides to go on the outside. There were a time where he broke completely free and he brought it back in on his inside, and then by then the bodies had got back. If he'd have just taken it down the left-hand side, which I believe Okafor would have done, Nonto doesn't have that kind of confidence in himself to take it on his weak foot and cross the ball in. No. So whereas, the players that step up that little bit of extra level, they do have that. So yeah, I think there's a combination of things. I think we are more now pragmatic, and I think we are building from the back. And I think the fact that we've achieved 2 clean sheets at home in the 2 first home games of the season shouldn't be overlooked. We're definitely building from the fact that we want to concede less chances. We want to make sure that we're staying in the games as much as possible. I think that the massive credit to that as well. Because I'd rather be in a position where we still capable of winning the game going into the second half, the latter of the game, then we've created a few more chances, but we've lost. We're 2-0 down. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Michael's suggestion here: need help on the right, get Fatoa 15 million, make it happen.
It wouldn't happen at 15 million. It'd be 20 million more than that. You'd be looking at 30 to 35 million. I think same as El Canu's kind of value. The other problem with Fatoa is he's literally missed a full season with an ACL injury. I think it was. He's only literally just come back. So people have been kicking and screaming about the fact that we've signed all these injury-prone players, and then you go and sign one that's just been out for a full year, just kind of again, and it'd be for massive money. So I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that the Fatoa has been out for a full season. He scored a nice goal today, so I think that's why everybody's going mad for him. But I don't see that one happening, to be honest.
Want to mention the fullbacks from today as well. Start with Jayden Bogle, who he was my man of the match actually, and he looks like our most progressive attacker. He's someone who is confident with the ball. He gets us up the pitch so many times. He doesn't panic in possession. He's clever. Is inventive. Just so much goes through Jayden Bogle. I thought he was really good defensively as well. There was a bit where Livramento kind of nearly stealed a pass on him, and he kind of just nudged him out. He was really good, really good. Gabby Goodmanson on the other side, that ball that he played across. Oh, I mean, it was just begging for someone to tap it in, and I thought he had a great game. I thought he was completely over-criticised in the Arsenal game, by the way. I don't know. I thought people were off their heads. I thought he was way over-criticised for the Arsenal game. I think he's had a stellar start to life at Leeds. I feel really confident with Gabby Goodmanson there, either way, by the way, as well. But yeah, Jay, a word for the fullbacks.
Jayden Bogle, I think, is arguably our first name on the team sheet when Ampadu's out injured. He's so key to what we do creativity-wise. Like, he's the only player I feel really confident running with the ball. I think he actually runs with the ball better than Nonto and James does, you know, in terms of the way that he carries the possession of the ball. It feels sometimes like we're looking to him to create stuff, which is mental considering the fact that he's a right back. And I think defensively, I think he's way better than people made out he was. You know, Sheffield United fans really is who I'm referring to there. I think defensively he's pretty sound, if I'm honest. I think his positioning is good. I think he's good in the tackle. Sure, he's going to get beat from time to time. All full backs do. So, and I think Gabby has probably been the best out of all the signings so far over all of the games that we've seen. I think he's showing that little bit of extra quality and level. I think he's capable of running well with the ball as well. I think his decision making is good. He's got a good recovery pace. He's good in the tackle. He's got a sweet left foot, and he can deliver a ball really well. I think he'll get 4 or 5 assists easy this season. He'll probably get a number. So I'm really happy with him. And very little came down either flank in the way of danger. And I would say that's probably where Newcastle's biggest threat comes from. And the same went for against Everton as well. You know, we looked really solid in the areas of the pitch. And the wingers deserve credit for that as well. Dan James, Willie Nonto up until the subs, and then Brendan and Jack Harrison as well, because they can't do it on their own. And they do help. You know, I think all 4 of them are pretty good defensively. I think Willie Nonto's really added that to his game over the last year or so. His defensive work rate and his understanding and his desire to help his teammate out down on his wing. I think he's seen and understands that that's a vital part of being a winger for a top level team. So, I'm super happy with that. I'm really happy with Gabby. I like watching him. He's a top player. It feels like the best left back we've had in years and years and years. I mean, he's levels above Junior Firpo. I know he's not as exciting and as fancy, and he's not going to be, scoring a diving header like Junior Firpo did on a number of occasions, but he is a far better all-round left back.
Yeah, 100%. Enzio, thanks for your comment, mate. Gabby looks a real top buy, and Jayden excellent again, top player. I could see Jayden go right wing with the way he's going, with Justin at right back, although I hope it doesn't come to that.
He won't do that, but I know what he's getting at. I know what he's getting at. I do think Jayden Bogle will be, if he has a really good season this season, I really think he could be reckoning for an England call-up at some point. Like, I know that's a bold, wild statement, but Jed Spencer's just got in. And I know Jed Spencer's had an all right year or so now at Spurs, and he's kind of been building on, what were a bit of a turbulent time at Leeds, and then going over to Serie A and not playing out there and whatnot. But Jayden Bogle's a top player. He's a top player. He's a really good fullback, modern day fullback.
He's only 25 as well, so I can imagine there could be suitors for him next summer. If he continues like this, that could be something, certainly. Perry, let's talk about Perry. Didn't have a tremendous lot to do in terms of shot. There was that kind of one save that he did that I can think of. Kicking was a concern. Some of the kicking was...
it was better today.
There were a couple of times where he put us in trouble with his kicks. I'm not convinced, I've got to admit, but I mean, it's difficult because he didn't have a lot to do, did he really? But what did you make overall?
I thought he came and claimed what he needed to. I thought, by the way, I kind of attached to this, I thought we defended set pieces brilliantly today. The Newcastle, some of the Newcastle deliveries weren't great, but I thought we dealt with them really well because they are a problem in the air. I thought Perry did all right, if I'm honest. I don't think he had any super hair-raising moments in terms of getting caught with possession of the ball. Made a good save, collected what he should have done. I just don't think he's great with his feet. And, a lot of keepers aren't. We saw Nick Pope not being very good with his feet today as well.
He was brilliant aerially, Pope, by the way, for call. just, I mean, he didn't have a
Arms
sniff.
are so long, aren't they?
Oh, it's ridiculous, honestly. He, you know, you just felt with Cornish, he just wasn't going to get anywhere because he just comes and claims everything.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's why I'd have been all over Pope as a signing. He'd have been a top signing. But I'm not too worried about this situation. I think people are very quick to forget what they've spent so long moaning about. You know, and I did kind of allude to this last year. Like, Ilan was very comfortable with the ball at his feet. Very, very comfortable. And now we're seeing a keeper that's not that comfortable. And now everybody's going, he can't kick. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a reason that he throws the ball out of his hands a lot with that massive long throw that he's got.
Just do that. Do that.
He's not particularly great with his feet. So I think he's all right. I think he's mental. I think he's again one of them keepers that mental. Did you see when ball came back to him and he did like 2 kick-ups and then caught it? Like Newcastle player, like 5 yards away from him, and he did like 2 kick-ups and then just caught it. I mean, keepers are always a bit mental, and he's definitely got a bit of a loose screw, I think, as Perry. But I think he did all right, mate.
I can see it when it gets to like game 10 to 15. I could really see him being super settled by then, and we'll start to really kind of see it.
I like him. I think he's all right. I think he's fine. Like, people were flapping because we conceded. But I mean, they were flapping about everything, weren't they? They were ready to burn it all down last week. Never mind the keeper that had only played 2 games for us. So
mental. James Justin, we got his first glimpse. Not too much to do, really, was there? I didn't kind of notice him kind of that much when he came on for Gabby Goodmanson and
Justin.
Isn't it really just someone who slots in and, you know, sees the game out?
Yeah. There weren't much to say. He's smaller than I thought he was. For some reason, I just thought he was a bit taller than that, but he's actually quite pocket, isn't he? He's a quite pocket rocket. It's a bit tidgy. But yeah, I thought he did fine. Be difficult to kind of know what we're going to see from him and where he's going to slot in. Goodmanson took a knock and they didn't risk it, did it? But basically, they just whipped him straight off. So, no, I can't report too much more on it than that because I didn't see enough really.
No. John, great result today. Good point against Newcastle. Michael, do we even want Hamer? Was a ghost today. Blades scoreless, winless. Crazy what's happened to Sheffield United this season. I've got to admit, I didn't think of Hamer today as a missing thing. I'm gonna say.
I get a feeling it'll happen, Browney. If I'm honest, I don't know how I really feel about it. I think I've made my feelings on it quite clear, but I just think it's just a bit meh. And I think fans are gassing because he plays for Sheffield United and they've seen him score a couple of goals, yet they'll then complain about all the other signings that we've signed that are according to them average. And I just don't get it with Hamer. I think people just see the odd moment of excitement and brilliance and just get really excited by it. I don't think he really changes us. I think he gives us a good option to change games during the game. But I think if everybody's fit, I don't think he gets anywhere near starting lineup, if I'm honest. Especially if we're not playing with the 10, which we're not going to do. We're just not. Like, there's no way that we play with the 10 now, I don't think. Not unless we get a real specialist one. So I'm not that enamoured by it, if I'm honest. I caught a bit of the Sheffield United game earlier. Middlesbrough looked good for large parts of that. And, you know, Sheffield United sack the manager that loses in the playoffs 12 months after we didn't sack ours. And they've lost 4 from 4 and sit bottom of the league. So, just again shows you be careful what you wish for, because the championship standard of manager that you would then go and get is Ruben Sellers, and he loses 4 games from 4, and they looked pretty weak, mate. They looked very, very ordinary. So, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, absolutely. John saying here, though, he thinks, yes, we want him. He will improve the squad with his creativity. I mean, he's known as a bit of a set-piece taker, isn't he, Hamer?
Can you just sub him on for set pieces, though? Like,
that'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah, just imagine if you could do that. Yeah, just get him on for free.
NFL style.
Yeah. What's the plan with Bijol in your head? What's going on there? Because came in for a large amount of money, really, kind of one of our most expensive signings this summer. Not break the bank territory, but certainly, you know, one of the most notable transfers and notable fees. The issue for me is, I mean, Stroik's vice captain. He was captain today. we assumed that he was coming in for strike. I mean, I just wonder what's gonna happen there. Like I say, I thought strike was good today, but
I think it's
was terrible.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really interesting debate, and it's good that we've got players waiting in the wings to push these players on to have good performances.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I look at this squad now. I think, well, the centre backs can't have a bad day because there isn't any. Last season there was nobody behind them. The option was Ampadu, and then dropping from midfield and stuff like that. Like, we don't have that now. We have serious backup options or potential first team players. I think Jakobio was definitely told that it was going to be first choice. I think he'd have started the first game of the season against Everton if he hadn't been suspended. I truly believe that would have been the case. And I can't imagine for a second that it'd be Joe Rodon that would be dropping out, even though Rodon's the right-footed, and I don't think that matters to Farke that much, if I'm honest. I don't think it's like a Bielsa day where you had to have a left foot and a right foot. So yeah, I think there'll be a time where he gets in, and then it'll be up to him to nail the place down and keep it. Players do have to earn the right to start, especially if a player has got the shirt from the first game of the season. I think the centre-back conversation is very different to other areas of the pitch where you might have a situational change. So in the middle of the pitch, as an example, there'll be games where it'd be better to play Longstaff than Tanaka, right? Like today, it'd have been better to play Longstaff than Tanaka, probably even if they'd have all been fit, given the experience, they've got opposition and all the rest of it. Same goes for the wingers, same goes for the striker, the Perot and Mecha debate. I think the centre-backs and the goalkeeper are two positions that you try and keep as solid as possible for continuity.
Yeah.
So I can understand why you wouldn't then situationally bring Biol in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting. It'll be a really, really interesting one because I don't like Pascal. I don't as a whole, but I do think he started this season pretty well. I think the two games in which we've got something from, I think he's been very solid. I thought he was excellent against Everton. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I thought he had a couple of Pascal Bozo moments today, but I still thought it was good. And I thought he complemented Joe really well as well. I think Joe has been brilliant. I know against Arsenal, they were all struggling, but even against Arsenal, I don't think he did anything wrong. But I think Joe's really kind of stepped up the level and his awareness, his positioning, his pace, because he's really quick as Joe Rodon. He's been good in the air, his distribution's been good, and he's even been trying to carry the ball out as well. He's been trying to kind of lead of carrying that ball out of the back, which he did do last season. So I'm really, really impressed with Joe.
Yeah, the real shame of it is that his Welsh counterpart Ampadu hasn't been available for the last two games. Because I think if you put Ampadu in this midfield, I mean, it feels really solid. Great question that someone's asked. Skip, I understand it's just one game for Longstaff, but if everyone is fit after the international break, has Longstaff put himself in for a start at Fulham? And I don't know. Ampadu and Tanaka are MCL injuries. I don't know if they're going to be back by then or what it's going to be. You don't want to rush them back, but that's a great kind of conundrum to have. Like you just said, then it's different players for different games, that kind of thing, and that's going to be a fascinating debate. And then suddenly, when you get those two back, it looks like a really strong area of the field again.
I think Longstaff will become a really important part of this side. And I know that we got really excited by the three together, Tanaka, Stack, and Ampadu in the first game, and so we should have been. I just get the feeling that Tanaka's gonna struggle at times, maybe just down to experience, and I think Longstaff can kind of just give us that and that physicality. I know Tanaka's he's got it in abundance for endurance, but has he got the physicality in them duels to deal with the likes of a Tonali and a Joelinton and Gomeres today, that Longstaff clearly does have. So I think like Fulham away, I think it's a great example of where Longstaff would probably be better than Tanaka. Whereas Burnley, Sunderland, maybe even Brentford, a couple of others at home, Tanaka might come into them. So yeah, interesting one. But if everybody was fit, I would be very tempted for the Fulham game to go with Ampadu, Longstaff, and Stack.
Yeah. and give that a go. Yeah, indeed. Just checking now for some Farke post-match reaction. So Farke very happy with a point, 2 home games and 2 clean sheets. Rock solid, making it difficult for them. Well-deserved point for both teams and a very valuable one for us. To be ready for a long season and to be competitive and to give ourselves a chance to survive, we need to add more in the offence. Farke still hoping for 2 more signings before Monday night. Didn't comment on Buonanotte. There's always hope when asked about additions before the window closes. It's all kind of attention now turns to Monday and the closure of the transfer window. I'm buoyed by this performance this evening, Jason. I'm in a good spot with the state of play, and I just feel if we get a couple of attacking signings in, Jason, I think we'll be absolutely buzzing, won't we?
I think so, yeah. I genuinely think. I said I think this team, as it is, would finish either 17th or 18th. I think it's somewhere near, just without the creativity to get us the goals to stay up comfortably. I think that's what it's missing. I think the more it develops and the more we kind of work on the system and work in the pockets, take advantage of Ellen Road and all the rest of it, I really believe that this team's not a mile off. It's got good depth. I think it's got good backup options. We were all worried about the midfield today, and Longstaff and Gruev, they really equipped themselves today. They did. Still up against Gameres and Tonali, and then throw Jacob Murphy in there in the first half. It's still a pretty good Premier League midfield, mate. This is a Champions League team that we played today. Injuries and Isaac's situation aside, they played Liverpool off the park with 10 men on Monday night.
Yeah.
I really don't think that this should be just sugar-coated over as a ball draw. It's a smart, really effective point. We've now been unbeaten at Ellen Road for a year. We've not lost a game at Ellen Road for 1 whole year.
Back her out.
Yeah, back her out, mate. It's just so yeah. Can't remember your bloody question now. But ahead of Monday. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was it. Ahead of Monday with the transfers. We need a little more in them attacking positions. We know that. Farke knows that. And we'll get it. We'll get it. There's clubs scrapping all over the place for times. It's not just Leeds United, guys. Yeah. I compiled a list for Browney yesterday, didn't I, Browney? Of the teams that I predicted to finish in the bottom half of the table that had signed strikers. And I won't go through them all one by one now, but there were, I think, 6 out of the bottom 10 that I predicted that had not signed a number 9, and they all want number 9s. West Ham, who were going to be in and around our area of the table, signed Callum Wilson, 33-year-old Callum Wilson on a free transfer, and they desperately needed a striker. They've got Fulkrug, that's it. And we signed Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Metro, who are both good ages. And we're the newly promoted Premier League side. They're the established Premier League side with all the money behind them that they need. Wolves have not signed any. Bournemouth, the only one that I really had signed any that I predicted to finish in the bottom 10 were Manchester United, and we all know how they are at the minute. Burnley are rolling around with Lyle Foster up front. Yeah. I mean, he scored today, but he's pretty pony, So we just have to kind of try and take a wider perspective of what's going on here. And you've seen Calvert-Lewin play today against Newcastle. You can see the quality he's got, and he's not had a pre-season.
Yeah.
So I think we just need to again just take stock and think, actually, this isn't that bad. We desperately need a creator because we don't at the moment. Maybe Okafor could give us a bit of creativity. We don't fully know, but that aside, we really don't have creation. We have guile and determination in them attacking areas. Nonto, James, Harrison, they will all work hard and do the best given what they've got, but they don't have that X factor flair that we are desperate to, like Solomon did. No,
that's right. Gav, somebody said earlier window closes 7 p.m. Monday. Is that right? That is correct. Myself and Jason will be reacting to the transfer window at some point Monday evening as well. So do make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss that. Michael, I think the top teams in this league could turn us over, but mid-table teams and down Leeds will be in every match, in my opinion. Good structure. Yeah, I agree with that, Michael.
The top teams will turn over most teams. What the right? Sorry to interrupt you there, but the top team. We played a top team today.
Yeah.
So I agree with Michael's point, but he's also wrong because Newcastle came today and were second best. I'm not giving them a pass for being a bit tired from Monday night, like with 3 games into the season. Like, come on.
Well, we played Tuesday, whatever as well.
Yeah, and we had a depleted side too, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. Good stuff. Some other results then, Jason, from around the league today. We'll get you taking that, obviously. Burnley, unfortunate one there. Manchester United, a dodgy decision there has happened, and they've snuck a win of Man United after a disastrous week for them as well. It would have been the icing on the cake, wouldn't it, if they'd have dropped points against Burnley?
I mean, maybe it's a good thing because maybe it means that Amarin stays a little bit longer. I mean, he looks so out of his depth now, doesn't he? He appears to have fallen fully off the cliff. I think he'd have left in tears today if they'd have dropped points.
Yeah,
they were all right first half from Man United. They probably should have been out of sight, but second half they were. I'd almost say they were bullied a bit by Burnley. They equalised at Burnley and then instantly had a conceded, and then they had a goal ruled out for the tightest offside you will ever see. Did Burnley? Lyle Foster scored again, and then they equalised again. So, I mean, the war and death with Burnley is hilarious at Old Trafford. And then they get the softest penalty you will ever see. You will literally ever see. The contact started outside of the box, and then he throws himself over, does Ahmad. We need Burnley to drop points, but, getting a point away at Old Trafford's not going to see them stay up or down. Burnley are going to finish bottom, guys. They're going to finish bottom. And they've equipped themselves all right, but they're going to finish bottom. So I personally would have taken seeing them take something from Manchester United at Old Trafford because I just think it's funny. So
absolutely. Sunderland, cracking win for Sunderland today. They were losing against Brentford, but managed to turn it around. I think quite late on as well. Yeah, it was 96 minutes. But they were losing at one point there. But I do feel Sunderland have had a gentle start, haven't they? Really, in terms of who they've played: Burnley, West Ham, Brentford. I mean, you couldn't have picked a more ideal start. And the loss to Burnley as well. But never mind, they got 6 points. They've banked 6 points. It'll give them confidence. See what they do with days left in the transfer window as well. Elsewhere, Bournemouth, by the way, Iriola, man, this guy he's just it, isn't he? As a coach, you just know he's just it, isn't he? They've lost tons of players in the summer, recruited more, and I know they went a bit flat at the kind of last quarter of last season, but. I could see him move. If Pep goes, if it's a bad season for Pep, I could see him just clicking straight in there and getting them. I mean, Tottenham had been on fire under Frank at start of season, and Bournemouth go there and get the 1-0 and battered them as well. Yeah,
dominated them. Yeah, I mean the one that got away in Iriola, where Leeds are concerned, unfortunately.
I mean, link as well. It's just like,
I watched Bournemouth against Liverpool on the opening day, and they were excellent. They really were. They were unfortunate not to get anything from that game, and they've got some top talent within that side. And they've lost loads, and they're just kicking on. And he really is punching way above his weight, and he's got a system and a style that's attractive to watch and super effective as well. Fair play to him. Fair play to Bournemouth. They've got something about them, haven't they?
Yeah, Spursy about to Gav.
I predicted them for top 4 this year, and I was looking really smart up until today. So
yeah, exactly. It's weird one, isn't it? Weird how it works. But back to Leeds United, then, Jay. Like I say, we will be back Monday evening at some point to discuss what's happened there. Could be a very, very exciting couple of days.
How many do you think we're getting now? You've always said 1. Have you changed your mind?
Yeah, I did say 1. I'm kind of do I kind of let optimism take over and do I say go for 2? I'd love 2. I've got to say I would absolutely love 2. Let's say 2. What about you?
What about 3?
That would be the dream, wouldn't it? That would be the dream. Yeah.
We'll definitely sign some sort of creative player. Whether that's
what about the Russian guy out there? There's a Russian player that's been linked. Yeah, let me go on. You give us his thoughts and I'll
Well, I think El Canoes might end up back on the table because of all the kind of shenanigans that's gone on there. So maybe that happens, and maybe we're the only ones prepared to put down the dollar. We'll definitely get a creative player in before the end, even if it means that we go out and we push for Buendia, or maybe we end up with Manor Solomon again, or whatever. Like, there'll be somebody that comes through the door in that area of the pitch. Maybe Manor Solomon, they'll then give a license for another option for Okafor to play on the right or something like that. I don't know. I've seen people losing their mind today saying how right they were because Ramazani got an assist on his debut when Valencia
Schmidt scored.
Did he really?
Yeah, Schmidt scored as well.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
Valencia were already 2-0 up, and then he came on and got an assist. So, footballer passes ball across box for tapping. Like, let's not rewrite history. And I'm gonna die on the hill, but I think Calvin comes back on Monday. I just, like I say, it's not. I know somebody reported it last night after we were talking about it once, didn't they? I don't know if that came from anywhere or it was just made up, but I just can't imagine an end of the window where Calvin sits not being registered at Manchester City. I can't imagine it. So I just can see it happening, even if we get him for complete free. Maybe they sign, tear his contract up and he comes back on free, or maybe it's a loan deal for a year where we're paying 20% of his wages or something. I don't know, but I just see something happening there, and I think it'd be smart. And then, it's just a case of how many attacking signings that we make. Like,
John's mentioned here, potential outgoings as well. Could be a couple of.
There could be some.
There could be something happening there as well.
I think Mez will end up finding a club before the end of play on Monday, one way or another. He won't be registered within the squad, not when we've got Keynes, Darlow, and Perry. So something will happen there. There'll be a couple of others as well that might, kind of find a way out, and then there'll be definitely some, 21s. Darko Jabe is still here as an example. He'll probably find his way out as well. This, I think I know we've gone back and forward in talking about this statement signing thing and how we're all a bit shocked about it, but I think again you've seen today that the sum of the parts are more important than the individual player. So I don't think we need necessarily a statement signing. We just need a player that's going to fill the role in which we're missing. I'll give you this is not a great example, but it kind of goes to serve my point, is that when we signed Pablo Hernandez wasn't a statement signing. He was on loan from Qatar at the time, but it was perfect. He was the creme de la creme perfect of what we needed in that side, and he ended up being such an integral, vital part of our future. We need somebody that can just fit the role. It doesn't have to be 35 million, 40 million pound. It can just be the right. Like Mecha today, Mecha served a really good purpose and a really good role today, and it was a free transfer.
Yeah.
So just needs to be the right. And if we go and spend 35 million on El Canoes, amazing. But if it is something else, if it's Buendia on a free transfer and we can get him fully fit, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
because it would fit. So yeah.
I found a little bit about this Russian guy. So his name's Eduard Spirtsian. So he spent his entire career in Russia. He's a conventional number 10 with a creative spark. 4 goals and 7 assists in 6 appearances so far this season, and he's described as an elite level player, and looking at 22 million.
I can't say that I've ever heard of him, but I might have done through Football Manager or something.
It's not a name I have ever kind of. I'm just going to do. I don't know how old he is. Let's see how old he is. So he's 25. So, but yeah, maybe one to watch. Just as well, in terms of Farke's comments as well, just want to bring in this. This is Baron Cross reporting. Farke couldn't be clearer. He feels they need more quality before Monday at 7 p.m. And if they don't, it will be difficult to stay up so far. Because really ramping up that pressure to the recruitment team, and fair play to him. Why not? Because he's going to be his job on the line, isn't it?
If
he doesn't get the pieces. So yeah, an exciting couple of days ahead, yeah.
Absolutely, and I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing for it. I'm really delighted with today. Really delighted with the fact that we've come out of this with something to show for it. I think 4 points on the board. I saw somebody, I can't remember who it was, it mentioned in the comments earlier being 4 points being the target over the 3 games. I disagree. I think the target would have been 3 points over the 3 games. So I think we've actually exceeded the target given the opposition that was on show. We all knew that start of the season was going to be tricky. I think people gloss over the Everton result as well. Yeah. That was a tricky. I think we hit them at a good time because of the fullbacks and Grealish not being up to full speed and all the rest of it. But ultimately, we still did the job. We got the points. It doesn't really matter. So, I think it's been a great start to the season. I'm happy with what we're seeing while I understand the deficiencies. And then I'm excited for Monday. Here we go. Don't go to bed just yet. Get them all out. Get all the lines out.
Exactly. International break ahead.
Boo.
I know. A couple of weeks until the Fulham game. But yeah, we're going to have to entertain ourselves with the transfer window. Hopefully we'll get a couple of shiny new toys as well to get excited about over there. Great stuff. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for all those that have commented. If you've not liked the video already, please do. If you're watching the video again later, please do get your comments on as well. And please subscribe to the channel. Myself and Jay will be back in a couple of days' time, Monday evening, reacting to what's happened and looking at the state of play and how that Leeds United squad stacks up. But let's just enjoy the fact that we've had a good result against a good team, and it certainly ended the week on a high point, I think.
Absolutely.
And it could even get better by Monday evening as well. So I've been Stephen Brown. With me has been Jason Booker. Thank you very much, Jay. And we will see you on Monday with bated breath. Take care. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.